And thank you for everyone that's on the call. I love doing this. I love sharing, and this is going to be a fantastic presentation because I've learned everything I know from retailers just like you. But like Eric said, on the 19th we did POS and front end fraud, and that is up on the FMS Solutions page on YouTube. And today, of course, we're going to cover shoplifting prevention, and then the next and final webinar will be on Wednesday, the 16th of November, and that is on vendor deliveries. And you don't want to miss that either. But again, this is on the FMS Solutions YouTube page. Just type FMS www, or go to YouTube and just do FMS Solutions. And this webinar, as well as just tons and tons and tons of other webinars that FMS has done over the years, is out there. All the information you could ever possibly want to help run your business is out there for you. So please take advantage of that. Today we're going to be talking about shoplifting, but let's back up just a moment. Let's look at the FMI 2013 Supermarket Shrink Survey. This is the most recent one. And ladies and gentlemen, what do you call it? Shrink, gross margin, gross profit, losses. It's all about the bottom line. And according to this survey, 64% of the bottom line losses are believed to be operational errors. That's, pricing, over ordering, throwaways, damages, spoils, things like that. 36%, however, is believed to be due to theft. And that is like, I said this before, it's like the iceberg that hit the Titanic. If you don't know that's there, it can sink you. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, because you guys are operational managers. You understand how to correct operational errors. This is the one that's not talked about that often. Even on the 2015 FMS Shrink Survey, they talk a lot about shrink and losses and waste with regards to operational errors, how to control them. Theft rarely touches on that. So that's why FMS asked me to talk about these three important areas: POS, theft prevention; shoplifting, theft prevention; and DSD delivery, theft prevention. But today, I want to break that down even farther. That the 36% here, I want to break that down a little farther. Of that 36%, 31% is believed to be cashier theft or error. 25% is general employee error, or general employee theft, 8% is vendor theft or error. And today we're going to be talking about this whopping 36%, which is believed to be shoplifting. And all of you have addressed shoplifting. All of you have caught shoplifters. All of you have chased shoplifters. We all have. If we're in retail, we just do. And I'm going to share some things with you about how to handle shoplifting differently than we have in the past. And this is critical in moving forward, especially in this day and age when people will pull out a gun and blow your head off. So that we don't want that. So I'm going to show you, or hopefully share with you, a different way to deal with shoplifting in your stores. But first I want to cover the theft triangle. Every loss situation that occurs in your stores, be it employee theft, be it shoplifting, be it vendor theft, three things have to be present besides the merchandise. Number one is need or greed. Someone that's going to steal has to have a need. They want it. Greed, they confuse want and need, but they need merchandise, so they need something, and so they want to take that. But let me ask you this: just because you need more money, does that mean you're going to steal? No. Just because you need something doesn't mean you're going to steal. Most people don't do that. The second part of this theft triangle is a thing called rationalization. Every single person every day rationalizes it's okay to steal, or it's okay to do something that they know is wrong, whether it's be running around on your wife, or like my wife, she is always on a diet, and she'll kill me if she ever hears this, but she's always on a diet, and she will eat a pound of M&Ms and drink a Diet Coke and rationalize, well, the Diet Coke will cancel out the M&Ms. We all do crazy things like this. You're driving in a car and you're speeding. You see the speed limit signs that say 55, but we all speed. Why? We tell ourselves we're keeping up with traffic. I'm late, or I heard one lady from Sweden say speed limits are just a suggestion. We make up these things in our head to tell ourselves it's okay to speed when we know it's wrong. However, when you're caught speeding and the cop, the blue light's going off in your rearview mirror, and he comes over and he says, "Do you know how fast you were going?" That rationalization goes out the window. But rationalization is extremely powerful. As an employer, what control do you have over a person's rationalization? You have none. And what control do you have over their need or greed? You don't have any. But they're still important to understand. Some of the rationalizations that employees use to steal from us, I'm sure you've heard these before. They're a big company. They'll never miss it. They make tons of money. I need it more than they do. The manager's a jerk. I've heard tons and tons and tons of rationalizations over the years. Still, even though you don't have control over it, it's very, very powerful. To give you an example, this lady named Cheryl Wall, she was a controller for Habitat for a local chapter in North Carolina, embezzled over $500,000 in a year. And she justified and rationalized that it was okay to do this because she felt the people that were giving houses to didn't deserve it. They didn't work for it. They didn't deserve it. She deserved it more than they did. So for some strange reason, she felt that was okay to rationalize it was all right to steal. So if someone can rationalize it's okay to steal $500,000 from Habitat for Humanity, ladies and gentlemen, what are the chances that someone could rationalize it's okay to steal from your company? It's pretty good. But as an employer, you don't have any control over the rationalization or the need or greed. The only thing you have control over is the opportunity. That is it. And in addressing theft, preventing theft, and that iceberg of theft out there, controlling this opportunity, whether it be POS, whether it be employee theft, whether it be shoplifting, whether it be DSD theft, the opportunity is the key. That is what you can control, because you can't do anything about these other two at all. Well, since we're talking about shoplifting, when I was, and I'll go into a little bit, when I was starting out my career, I was a shoplifter catcher. I'm the guy that hid in the store and caught people stealing. And I heard this rationalization all the time. There was need or greed. I need wine for the party, or I need this, or I need that. And the rationalization that I heard sometimes, the store's charging too much for this, or they keep raising the prices, they're ripping me off, whatever it may be. But the opportunity is that no one is paying attention to me. I heard that over and over and over again. All right, who steals? I've been asked this 1,000 times. Who steals? Within the population, studies have been done, 10% of the population will never steal. You can put your wallet in front of someone, you can put $1 million out there, they will never ever steal. That's the kind of people we want to hire. However, you have 10% on the other end that always, always, always will steal, regardless, like my brother-in-law, just bad people. There's nothing you can do about that 10% on this side. You don't have to worry about this 10% because they're never going to steal. This 10% is always going to steal, so you just go ahead and fire them. The main group you want to deal with are 80% of the population, who are basically honest people who may steal if the right opportunity presents itself. Again, whether it be vendors, shoplifters, employees, this is the group you want to try and target, the 80%. Basically honest people who may steal if given the right opportunity. There's an interesting statistic I want to share with you. The average loss per theft case in shoplifting. A study was done recently. The average case is $113.30. Now this is for, I think this was a department store. It's very, very high. But because their merchandise is more expensive still, as a percentage basis, you can see that shoplifting is $113 per case. However, employee theft cases are $665 per case. So we've already talked about employee theft and POS theft. This doesn't mean that shoplifting should not be addressed, but if you've got a choice of dealing with shoplifters or dealing with employee theft to try and prevent that, you really want to focus on employee theft. Shoplifting is important, but focus on employee theft prevention as well. That's why you need to go back and listen to that other webinar we did 2 weeks ago. I'm going to show you a video here of an incident, and this probably looks very, very familiar. You've seen this 1,000 times in your stores. Now, someone is watching this guy on a camera. The security people are watching this guy on the camera. They know who he is. They've watched him steal before. They've called him before. Now, here comes the security guy. He blocks the door. The guy drops the meat. I don't think he wants to come in. This kind of stuff goes on every day in our stores. And what I want to do is address the catch 'em, the actual apprehension phase of it, of shoplifting, and then the prevention phase. Like that video showed right there. The young man that's working security had enough time to go up in the security room. He's watching people. He sees a guy come in that he knows is going to steal. He's seen him before. He's called him before. He knows he's going to steal. Instead of walking out and addressing him, he wants to catch him. And the reason for that is he's probably graded by the number of shoplifters that he catches. When I was starting my career, I got graded on how many people I caught. If I didn't catch people in the week, my boss asked me, what are you doing? Aren't you doing your job? So I couldn't wait for people to steal. Now think about it. I'm security. I want people to steal. My operations director did not want people to steal. That's losses. So security wants them to steal. Operations doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what I did for 4 years while I was in college. I caught shoplifters, and I wanted people to steal. It sounds crazy. But in the apprehension phase, there is a danger of injury to employees and to customers. There's court time. Yeah, it's very frustrating to catch shoplifters, take them to court. It's continued, it's continued, it's continued, and nothing ever happens to them even when they're found guilty. Lawsuit potential if it's not handled absolutely correctly. Additional overhead, hiring loss prevention folks, hiring guards, hiring people. It adds to your cost. And poor customer perception. If you've ever tackled someone on the front end on a Saturday morning, which I have, customers don't know who the good guy and who the bad guy is, of the two people wrestling around on the floor. When I was a shoplifter catcher, my number one goal was to get the shoplifter in the store. I remember the old days in the supermarkets. We would call over the intercom. We'd call for assistance from the meat clerks in the back, and they would come out with their meat cleavers, and they'd run out there with their cleavers. They're yelling, screaming. They loved it. It was a lot of fun. That was a long time ago. Today, you don't know what is going to happen when you address a shoplifter. But when I was chasing shoplifters, I remember this one time I was watching a guy steal cassette tapes. That's how old I am. And he was putting one in his sock. And I said, I've got him. He broke up in a pack, put him in his socks. As he's walking out the door, he sees me coming after him. He takes off through the parking lot. He's running, and I'm chasing him, and I'm chasing him. And I keep yelling, drop it, drop it, drop it. And I'm chasing the guy. He jumps over a hedge at the end of the parking lot. And I then jump over that same hedge at the edge of the parking lot. I'm a little short dude. My feet hit the hedge, and I slammed down on the concrete. When I woke up, I asked myself, I wonder why people bury cinder blocks about 3 inches out of the ground. because my face hit that cinder block. I almost lost my eye. I was in the hospital for several days. This was right before Thanksgiving. I didn't get to go home. And it was, as I'm laying there in the hospital, I said, surely there's got to be a better way to do this. Surely there's got to be a better way to do this. Let me show you what I looked like several years ago. This is not me, but this is going on in our stores.
Well, he's just looking for an early Christmas present, if you ask me. He walks into the store. He's just shopping. I'm minding my business. Got me a box right here, but I wonder if I can get out of the store without anybody noticing. So he dashes for the door. Nobody catches him, do they? Yes, they do. Security guard. The security guard just... Now, most people would not do that and risk their lives for $10 an hour, but that security guard took his job very seriously. I'm telling you.
If you've been in retail any amount of time, we've all done something stupid. And your employees have done something stupid that put them in harm's way. Once you're chasing that person, adrenaline's pumping, you don't know what, you don't have control of your facilities, your faculties. What I recommend is you have a no chase policy. Underline 3 times, no chase policy, because none of that merchandise is worth anyone getting hurt for. When I was in the hospital, I almost lost my eye. I forget how much it cost. It was in the thousands of dollars to fix my eye and everything like this. And remember, it was over 2 cassette tapes that cost $1 a piece. We do really crazy things like that. But danger to your employees when they're chasing shoplifters, when you're chasing shoplifters, can be devastating, and it's not worth it. But also, in chasing shoplifters, there is a danger to others. This is a lady by the name of Rochelle Pender. She was happened to be a greeter at Walmart in Goldsboro, North Carolina on a Saturday. And loss prevention, the asset protection folks from Walmart saw a guy shoplifting. It wasn't much. The guy ran up toward the front of the store. He's running out the door, being chased. They bump into Rochelle Pender. She's elderly. She slammed down on the floor, cracked her head open on the cement floor, and died. That was a Saturday in a small town. Everyone saw it. Everyone knew about it very quickly in town. It was a travesty in the whole town, but it was over a shoplifting incident for something that wasn't worth that much money, but someone lost their life. So there's a danger to others as well when chasing shoplifters. Now, because every single municipality is different, the laws are different, I'm going to go over general things when detaining shoplifters. Like I said, I was a shoplifter catcher. I did this years ago. But now the legal community has come up with probable cause steps that must be followed when apprehending shoplifters in order to avoid lawsuits. That's the only reason these steps are in place. First, you must see the shoplifter approach your merchandise. Secondly, you must see the shoplifter select your merchandise. Silly, I know, but you've got to see him pull it off the shelf. Thirdly, you must see the shoplifter conceal and carry away or convert your merchandise. Therefore, you know what they have. You saw them go to the shelf, they pulled it off, and you see what they have. Fourthly, you maintain continuous observation of the shoplifter. And you know this is not realistic. We can't do this. They're walking around the aisles, they're walking to the back, they're walking to the front. You're trying to follow them around the store. You're trying to be inconspicuous. It does not work. You can't do this. But according to the law in lawsuits, and I've talked with many attorneys, this is the standard that you must follow in order to not be found guilty of a false imprisonment lawsuit if you catch someone and they didn't have something. And lastly, you must see the shoplifter fail to pay for the merchandise. In other words, they go through the check stand. In most states, you do not have to go outside. You don't have to wait till the shoplifter's outside, but you do have to see them fail to pay for the merchandise. I prefer to let them go through the check stand and stop them in the front of the store without them going outside. How not to stop a shoplifter. I hope that I'm not being too pedestrian here, but you have rules and policies in your company, hopefully, on how to stop shoplifters, who stops shoplifters. Hopefully, this is not going on in your stores. Steals beer. This is an employee. The security person had alerted her that this lady was stealing, or she knew this lady was a thief anyway. So that's an employee stopping a shoplifter. Now, the shoplifter's following her. She turns her back to the shoplifter, and it's a little blonde lady. However, this day and age, you don't know how desperate some people are. When you stop them, she might be wanted for a crime, might have to get away. The beer was on the cooler, so they walk away. So this is an example of what not to do when apprehending shoplifters. Because every state is different, here are some general rules when detaining shoplifters. Number one, ask for the merchandise back first. Whenever I stop shoplifters, I always ask, let me have the merchandise. Let me have the merchandise. I kept saying that to them, They would generally pull the merchandise out, give it back to me, and they think, well, I'm good to go. If they run, you let them go. At least you have the merchandise back. And number two, I didn't put it on here, but don't chase them. Do not chase the shoplifter. Number two, have them walk in front of you so you can see what they're doing. Look at their hands. You kind of stand to the side and point your hand out. Direct them, but don't touch them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If I walk up to any of you guys and I put my hand on you, or I grab your arm, or just touch your shoulder, legally, that is assault. Legally, that is assault, and you can be charged with assault. And I've had store managers charged with assault before by shoplifters when managers took them by the arm just to escort them in. So never, ever touch the person. Have them walk in front of you, but do not touch the people, except in self-defense. If they attack you, you're free to do whatever you got to do to protect yourself. But do not touch the shoplifter. I don't know what your store policies are, whether you let people go or just make them sign a form or whatever, but the rule of thumb is if they do not have ID, call the police. You don't know who this person is. They could be wanted, they could be murderers, they could be whatever, but if they say, I don't have an ID, call the police, no questions asked. Lastly, juveniles. Only release juveniles to the parent, a guardian, or police. Make sure it's a legal guardian. The reason for this is you arrest, and this is actually as a case, a kid was arrested. He was crying. They said, we feel bad for you. We know you don't want your parents to know about this. So they let him go. The kid was running home, scared, crying, got hit by a car. The store was sued. The store lost because they had custodial, they put this kid in the custodial circumstances where they had them, and then they let them go distraught, and the kid got hurt. They actually were found, the company was actually found guilty. Now, we've been talking about how to catch shoplifters, and that's my least favorite subject. But this is my dog, King. I love my dog, but my dog loves to go after cars. And I always ask myself, King, you're chasing cars. What are you going to do with it if you ever catch it? Same thing with shoplifters. What do you do with it when you get them? You can bring it back inside. You call the police. If you're lucky, the police come. It takes forever for them to get there. Nothing happens to them in court. Or if they decide to run, if you chase them, they could hurt you. You could hurt them. Nothing good comes from chasing shoplifters. And it costs a lot of money for security people, tying up the merchandise. It's just, there's all these negative stuff tied up with apprehending shoplifters. Let me go back to that story when I used to be a shoplifter catcher. I was in the store one day, and this is before cameras, I was up in a mirror, one-way mirror up on a catwalk, and I'm looking down, and I see this lady I think is going to steal. She's in actually the silverware section. It was in their department store. She was looking at silverware, and she was looking at boxes of it, and she kept opening her pocketbook. So I thought, she's going to steal. She's going to steal. You know how the butterflies start fluttering? I run down to the floor so I can watch her, not lose sight of her. And as she's about to steal, an employee in that department walks by her and just says, "Hey, how you doing? Can I help you, ma'am?" The lady said, "No, I'm fine," and puts the silverware back and walks away. Ticked me off to no end, because like I said, I got graded by the number of people I called. And that employee, by going up to that customer and saying, "Can I help you?" caused that customer not to steal. I'll never forget this. I walked up to the employee after the customer left, and I looked at the employee and I said, "If you ever see me out on the floor again and you talk with another customer, I'll have you fired." Swear to God, I said that. I'm embarrassed about it, but I did say that because I wanted that lady to steal. But the employee just said, "May I help you?" Remember I said I was in a hospital and I was lying there when I smashed my eye when I was in the parking lot? Well, I was thinking there's got to be a better way. I started thinking about this incident when the employee walked by and said, "Can I help you?" And I'm thinking, maybe that's a better way to address shoplifting rather than trying to catch people. Because if I had said, "May I help you?" or try to prevent it, I wouldn't be laying here almost having lost my eye and cost my company a lot of money. Maybe, just maybe, that employee was right. So going into the preventive phase is have outstanding customer service. Outstanding customer service will help prevent shoplifting. Not only does it help sales and it drives sales and suggestive selling drives sales, but it will help prevent shoplifting. Prevention of shoplifting, there's no danger. There's definitely no lawsuits when you go up to someone and say, "Hi, how you doing? Can I help you? What are you doing?" Kill them with kindness. There's no lawsuits from that. There's no court time. There's no evidence to tie up. No additional overhead because you just use the regular employees in the store to say, "Hey, can I help you? How are you today? Let me help you. Would you like to sample something?" It's excellent customer service. Now, you got to remember, it sounds easy, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. Retail theft, shoplifters want privacy. That's the number one thing they need. Now, you may get some cycle gangs or big-time thieves that walk in your store, look straight at you, put something in their pocket, and walk out. I'm not talking about those people. What I'm talking about are the 80%, like I said, on the need, greed, on the theft triangle, 80% of the people who are basically honest people who may have a bent towards stealing, but if they have the privacy and the right opportunity, they're going to steal. What I'm going to show you now, over the next few minutes we have, is how to deny that privacy. Ways to handle customer service. We tell our employees, Practice good customer service. Make sure we have great customer service. And we don't tell them what that looks like. We assume they know. Here's what I recommend you do. It's a great thing. I've done it all over the country, and it works. It's called EVA, eyes, voice, and approach. The first part is eyes. Eyes are the window to the soul. Employees are busy, especially if they're production. They're behind the deli counter, they're behind the meat counter. They rarely look up because they're busy with production. Even if you walk past people, see them stocking on the shelves, they're busy with production. They don't look up at customers and make eye contact. So that's the first thing. Tell employees, anytime you see a customer around, at least make eye contact. I know some cultures don't like that, but I'm talking the general population. Make eye contact. Look at your store and see how many times employees do not make eye contact with your customers. Let me give you another example. When I was with Harris Teeter Supermarkets, we had a cashier that kept having customer complaints on her, that she wasn't a friendly cashier. She wasn't a good cashier. When we looked at her, she was very friendly. Her voice was fine. She never said anything out of the way. But when we started watching her behavior, she wasn't making eye contact with the customer as much. She was looking at the money. She was looking at the register. She was bagging. She was not making eye contact. That's how powerful that is. Also, next time your boss starts telling you what a great person you are and they won't look you in the eye, don't believe them. Eyes are really powerful. And let me give you an example here of how powerful eyes can be. This was a liquor aisle in a store. This cashier was put here so that she could prevent theft on this liquor aisle. Let me show you what happened when she did not turn around and make eye contact. This employee is still there, never looks at them, never turns around, never looks. Never looks, never turns around, never makes eye contact. Now, this is an employee coming to do production. She's going to put out something, some merchandise. Never looks at these people. They've got their back to her. They don't want to make eye contact. These guys are avoiding eye contact. This employee never makes eye contact, neither one of them. Now, you think it's over. They send a scout back in, and she's kind of new. She's a little skittish. A customer walks by. She thinks maybe, just maybe, that's an employee. See, they're professionals or semi-professionals. They don't want to be called either. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be noticed. They don't want to make eye contact with anyone. Here you go again. Simply, this loss happened because you had two employees that all they had to do was make eye contact. Oh, they come back a third. They just keep coming back. So if that employee had simply made eye contact, it could have prevented that theft. By the way, that was 64 bottles of Grey Goose and other wine, other liquors, totaling about $400, $600, something like that. Simply because eye contact wasn't made. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of thing is going on in your stores. Second thing is voice. You got eyes, and the V stands for voice. Voice is extremely powerful. What I do when I go into stores and customers, first thing I do is I walk around like a customer when I'm on an engagement for a week. First thing I do is go in as a customer and walk around the store. And I don't make eye contact. I want to see who will actually make eye contact with me or use their voice and say, hello, how are you? If I don't make eye contact, 9 times out of 10, those employees never say anything to me. That's what a shoplifter does. They don't make eye contact, therefore they're not bothered. So employees, whether customers make eye contact with them or not, should use their voice. May I help you? How are you today? Would you like to try out our new salads or whatever? Or Can I help you with that garbage can full of meat, ma'am? Whatever. But use your voice. Hi, how are you? Too often we see shoplifters or people we think are stealing and may have something on them, and we play this cat and mouse game and try and follow them around the store and see what they're doing. Get rid of all that stuff. You've got a name badge on that says you are X amount of or employee in the store. You have a right to walk up to any customer and say, can I help you? Is there anything I can help you with today? What are you doing? I haven't seen you before. I should know everyone. What is your name, by the way? Kill them with kindness. Use your voice. It's extremely, extremely powerful. Now, let me show you one other tip. Use the intercom to address possible shoplifters. If you're there in the store and you see 2 or 3 kids walk in or people walk in, they're in a group and they're up to no good, use the intercom.
Security, code green, section B. Security, code green, section B.
Some companies don't like to use like security HBC generally, you know, a security meat aisle, because if you've got a good customer, a little old lady there, and she hears security meat aisle and she's the only one there, she's going to freak out. But if you have something specific and you know someone's on an aisle that you want to address, use it. Say, you know, customer assistance needed to, or attention needed in the baby food aisle, whatever it is like this. It works. Let me show you an example of how I know this works. This is a thing called Tally Solutions. And if you want more information on this company, call me. I'm not working with them. I don't get paid anything. This is a friend of mine that has this company, and this stuff really works. I'm going to show you a video of his new solution to help prevent organized retail crime, large-scale thefts. These are guys coming in stealing large quantities of merchandise. Organized retail crime. Cleaning off the shelves. They use a pressurized mat connected to the intercom. Watch this.
Customer assistance needed in energy drink.
So when they pull the merchandise off the mat, it triggers the intercom system.
Needed in energy drink.
I love this one.
Customer assistance needed in energy drink.
This is great. These guys are going to steal this.
Customer assistance needed in energy drink.
They don't like that too much. Watch this. So people who are stealing large quantities of merchandise, that's what they do for a living. They do not want to be caught. They want privacy. Deny them the privacy, prevent them from stealing rather than try and catch them. Even professional thieves, ORC, whatever you want to call them, they make their living by stealing. And if they think they're going to get caught, they'll just leave your store and go down the street to someone else where they can steal and not get caught, because they go to jail, they lose their livelihood. The last thing is approach. Now, I'm not talking about walking up in front of, grabbing someone and saying, you know, hey, how you doing, right in front of their face. But approach is more about walking up to people and engaging them. It's called engagement is what I like this call. For example, I talk with employees and they say, well, Mr. Alford, after I say, may I help you, I got nothing. What do I say then? Well, every single one of the stores in the independent world that I deal with, they have flyers. I'm sure you have flyers too. Every employee should have a flyer in their hip pocket. And they walk up, hi, can I help you today? To someone they think may be looking to steal. So instead of walking up and say, oh, they're a possible shoplifter, I'm scared to say anything to them. No, think of them as a customer who needs assistance. You walk up to them, hi, how are you? Can I help you with anything? No, I'm fine. Well, have you seen our sales card? Do you have one? Here's one. We've got a great sale today on the whole pork butt roast for 99 cents. I see you have some meat already, but we also have some great steak sauce over on aisle 4. Could I show that to you? Just kill them with kindness, but use that sales flyer, number one, to have a reason to talk with them, and two, to help prevent shoplifting. Lastly, manager's dilemma. If you didn't see it, it didn't happen. An employee will come up to you and say, "Hey, I just saw that funny guy over there with the beard. He stole a pack of batteries, his AAA batteries. I saw it." And you're thinking, "Well, I didn't see it. I'm going to stop him, but on the word of this employee, I'm a little nervous." If you don't do anything, that employee will never tell you anything again. They'll say they don't care. But you've got to feel like you have to do something. Here's what a manager told me one time, and it works. I've done it 1,000 times. Tell the employee, "Hey, here's what you do. Go over to the shelf and pick up a pack of batteries, AAA batteries, just like the one he got. Bring it to me." The employee brings it over to you. Then you say, "All right, that guy over there, that's the one. Follow me." So you go over with the employee, and you engage, as a manager, you engage that person that supposedly has the batteries on them. And you engage them by saying, "Hi, how are you? I'm the store manager." And the whole time you're waving these batteries in front of their face. "I'm the store manager here. I know every customer, but I don't know you. I wished I did. I'm sorry. My name is John Brown. What is your name?" "Oh, Harry Smith." "Harry Smith, I'm very glad to have you." And you're waving the batteries around. You can even make reference to them. "Oh, someone left these batteries on the shelf. Here, Susie, could you put these batteries back where they belong? Because we like for merchandise to stay where it belongs." And you talk with them and talk with them and talk with them and say, "Hey, if you need any help, we're up here at the front to help you. This is Susie, my clerk. We're all here at the front of the store. We're here to help you." And you walk away. The guys I've seen it on camera before. The guys go around and they're pulling the batteries out of their pants. They're throwing it on the shelf. There's no court time. There's no shoplifting. There's no chasing them down. There's no calling the police. You prevent it. So that's eyes, voice, and approach, EVA. Teach your employees eyes, voice, and approach to prevent shoplifting, and you will reduce your shoplifting losses and increase your customer service. I know that was a lot. I threw at you quickly, but if you need further information or need a refresher on the information, go to the FMS Solutions page on YouTube, or my contact information is right there at the bottom if you want any information on the technology I've shared you, or you would like more information, or you would like for me to come in and give an education class or review your operations to help you prevent losses of all kinds, please call me. And thank you for your time today.